Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to English Word Flashcards 102. Sorry I'm a bit late. I'm about an hour later than I wanted to, but I've got some things on and should be caught up pretty much now and should be back to speed. So looking to be earlier in Friday night. So tonight I'm going to give an introduction. There's the topic I wanted to discuss. It looks like I've mentioned the referendum in Australia. I've got a news article here, which I'll just go into. In the Latrobe Valley in Victoria, there's a new battery that's been commissioned after a coal power station's been shut down. I'm just putting that into the chat now, so if anyone wants to go and have a look at that, and have you got any questions, come back into the chat, let me know, I'll see what I can do to answer. And then I'll get to the flashcard presentations. I've got 48 words that I'll be going through with using them in sentences and having some pictures. And then later I'll have general business. I don't think I'll be sticking around and doing anything else afterwards. But if you've got any questions or comments, please let me know. If you want something to bring up in general business, please leave a comment now. Or if you leave a comment after the live stream, I'll see if I can get to it the next one. And so the Australian referendum, it looks like the legislation is passing through Parliament for the referendum to happen. We've got some of the major parties here. There's one major party who they are agreeing for the legislation to have the referendum, but they want people to vote against the change to the Constitution. So, and there seems to be a lot of people talking on that. I'll see if I can get a bit more information and make something a bit more substantial out of it, but it looks almost certain that later in the year, Australians will be going and having a vote to change the Constitution to ensure that the Aboriginal people will have a voice to Parliament. So I'll just change over now. So I've got English Words Flashcards 102. So the first word is bay. A bay is an area of coast largely surrounded by land, and it gives protection from storms and large waves. So you might have a ship pull in there if there's a storm there, and might only have disruptive water from one particular area. In this case, it's a tourist attraction. There's quite a few boats and people on the sand there as well. Cartridge. When the printer runs out of ink, we need to swap the empty cartridge with a fresh one. Credible. If something is credible, it's convincing or able to persuade people it's possible it can or will happen. The plan to build a new dam bigger than anything else that in the country was ambitious, but credible, as the company that has done it before overseas. Inexperience. Inexperience is a lack of experience. Due to the inexperience of a machine operator, the plant was running at less than full capacity, but it should be back to full output in a week or two. Gnat. A gnat is a small flying insect. Corp. Corp is an abbreviation of corporation, which is another name for company. Pick. The people went to pick fresh fruit before going to the market. Front man. And I'll just say here, this word is for front man, but it can also be front woman instead, depending on the gender of the person who it applies to. The front man is a lead singer of a band. In a group, the front man is a representative chosen to speak for the group, or front woman. It's a bit like chairman, chairwoman, and chairperson for a gender-neutral version. Danger. The sign warns cyclists of The sign warns cyclists to a danger of falling over due to slippery surface when the road is wet. Accidental. If something was accidental, then it didn't happen on purpose. I'm sorry I took someone else's lunch from the fridge. I was in a rush and we both had the same bag. Vital. If something is vital, it's very important. It's vital the computer servers don't stop suddenly if the power goes out, so we have a battery and generator in case it does. Dregs. The dregs is a small amount of liquid left in the container after it's been emptied. It might also include some silt or sediment. Movie theatre. A movie theatre is a theatre where there are people. A movie theatre is a theatre where people watch films being projected onto a large screen. Sorry, that should be where the people watch films. Sociable. I was feeling sociable, so I decided to meet up with some friends at a pub instead of staying home playing a computer game. Antonym. An antonym is the opposite of a word. The antonym of big is small. The antonym of good is bad. Now that is the opposite, but there's also some words that can mean a similar thing. A synonym is a similar word. A synonym of big is large. Barter. Barter is a transfer of goods or services without using money. The builder helped build part of the barn, and the farmer agreed to give the builder free vegetables for a year in return. Play-by-play. The big game was on, and 2 stations were broadcasting what was happening. The news station was giving highlights at the end of every quarter, amongst other news, and the other was broadcasting the game play-by-play. Softball. Softball is a game similar to baseball, but it can be more casual as the pitcher has to pitch underarm. PJs. PJs is a shortened name for pajamas, which is clothes people sleep in. Sanctions. Our country's government wants to penalise another country for something they're doing and imposed sanctions. We soon won't be allowed to sell some goods to them and to buy some of their goods until the sanctions stop. Masquerade. A masquerade party is where people go dressed in disguise by wearing masks. Conjugal. Conjugal is a word relating to some people being married. The most common usage is a conjugal visit, where one partner goes to see the other person who is in prison. Twig. A twig is a thin branch of a tree. Sprain. A sprain is an injury, which isn't as bad as a broken bone. I sprained my ankle and will keep my weight off it until it heals, and should be back playing sport in a few weeks. Amok. Commonly used as run amok, which refers to people, usually children, being energetic and a lot of things happening at once. While the parents weren't looking, the kids run amok at Adam's birthday party. Videocassette. A videocassette is an old way to store audio-visual recordings. It's uncommon now. It's been replaced by DVDs, but they were very common and an often way to do it. Custom made. Due to my height, most of the off-the-shelf clothing doesn't fit me well, so I had some shirts, pants, and 2 jackets custom made. Tarmac. We couldn't unload at the terminal, so they brought out some stairs onto the tarmac so passengers could get off. Braggart. A braggart is someone who likes to talk about their achievements and usually exaggerates or embellishes them. Tent. The hikers carried a tent with them during the bushwalk, and they slept in it every night. Wasp. A wasp is a small flying insect, similar to a bee. Paraphernalia. Paraphernalia are items associated with an activity. Police raided the house looking for drugs and suspect the occupants were tipped off. They didn't find any drugs, but found drug paraphernalia, like precise scales and a pill press. Knickers. Knickers is another name for underwear. It's also commonly used in the saying of don't get your knickers in a knot, which means get angry and frustrated. Soft pedal. The project's backers spoke publicly, but did soft pedal some of the impacts that might cause it to lose community support. Understood. The manager left some detailed instructions in the diary and made sure to call me after my shift started to make sure I understood everything I needed to do and could ask some questions if I wasn't sure. Libel. Libel is a name given to someone going around saying things which could damage someone's reputation. Knotty. We were careful when using the long, thin string so that it didn't get tangled up and knotty. Takeout. Takeout's a word that can have several meanings, and it can refer to takeaway food, where you might be having the same dishes that you'd eat there, but you eat it off the premises. But it can also mean to kill somebody. Instruct. As part of starting a new job, we had someone instruct us on the safe operation of heavy machinery, so we didn't hurt ourselves. Housework. I didn't want to stay out too late on Saturday night because I had to catch up on some housework, like doing the washing, vacuuming, and cleaning the bathroom. HQ. HQ is an acronym for headquarters, a term for the place where the higher ranked people work. Chute. The 20-story hotel has a garbage chute where you can open a small door in the garbage room on any of the floors and put in a bag of rubbish, and it will fall down and land in the dumpster on the ground floor. Field test. The Army was happy with the testing the manufacturer of the new troop carrier had done, but they wanted to get a few and give them to a unit to field test for 2 weeks and see if they need to make any changes before mass production starts. Inn. An inn is a place where travellers can pay to stay a night. Tally. The referee has to keep a tally of how many points each team scores during the game, with the official records of the match. Marinade. To give the meat extra flavour before cooking, we put it in a marinade the night before. I put mine in a satay marinade, and my partner went with something spicier. Patrol. The police had received reports of several cars being stolen from a specific suburb last night, and they advised officers to patrol there if they didn't have anything else to do. Telescope. A telescope is an item used to help look at things far away. That looks like one that could be coin operated as well. So you might put in a small coin similar to $1 or $2 and be able to use the telescope for 5 or 10 minutes or so before it shuts off and then needs another coin to be inserted as well. Right, well, at this point I would do general business, but I'm looking at the stats and seeing that no one is in the chat at the moment, so I'll wrap it up there. If you've got any questions, comments, feedbacks, any requests for anything you want me to cover, please leave a comment and I'll see if I can put that to the top of the list of things to do. Thank you for watching.